It's Wednesday night and welcome to the Tilton Talk Show. And we've had 2 games since our last show, away at QPR on Friday and then victory at last at home to Preston on Monday. So I'll start with you, Claire, after I've introduced everyone. Tonight we're joined by Claire Gibbons.
Nice save, mate. Well done.
In the back of the net, that was.
Good evening. We nearly lost it. I can't remember a thing either. What day is it? What are we doing?
Oh, yeah. Alan Watton.
Hi there, everybody.
Craig Courtney.
Good evening, all.
Mark Adams.
Good evening, everybody. Hope everyone's all right.
Mark Meredith.
Good evening, all.
And last but not least, the main man, Chris Brown.
Good evening.
So defeat and victory over the last week since obviously we last produced the show. And I'll start with QPR. I thought with QPR we were okay in parts, I thought. Obviously scored a lovely goal through Bakuna. But then 2 really sloppy goals that we conceded. And I thought the first goal, you know, we had 4 chances there, didn't we, to sort of like put a challenge in and we didn't. And then it's deflected into the net. And the second goal for me, the first header has to be won. I think it was Drama who just gave the guy a free header. And then, in my opinion, surely Sanderson has to just put that in the stands or head it or do something with it other than what he did by letting it bounce. But he let it bounce. And unfortunately, that then gave us the problem to, obviously, for it to fall to the guy. And don't get me wrong, it was a fantastic chest and volley into the top corner. But, you know, it was a great goal, but I just thought it was so avoidable again. And then Monday, we'll come on to the happier stuff. Obviously, we finally get those 3 points and we look a lot more like our Gary Rowett team. We're more defensively structured, which I thought we were against Preston, and took our goal really well and more than deserved to score more than 1 goal and win more comfortably. But I thought we were well worth the 3 points, weren't we, Claire?
Yeah, I think Friday was just heartbreaking. I mean, first of all, because Tyler Roberts started. I don't know what he had done in training the week before, but that always was a shocker. We played 5 at the back. I thought we looked a lot more defensively sound. I think we looked a lot more solid. But this playing round the back, I mean, I'm so glad on Monday we were just booting the ball forward, because on Friday it was actually scary, because we were playing it and they were so high up against us. I mean, that chance that Tyler Roberts missed, it went over the wrong white line. I mean, I think all of us could have done better than that. And it just, you know, Bakuna's goal was quality. Again, he was one of the best players on the pitch. I think we made too many subs too quickly. And again, I think on Monday that changed as well. But just saying about Friday, I think, you know, it was, you know, we were so happy we scored a goal. And then you up there, and then all of a sudden they score again 2 minutes later. Then you're kind of going, oh no. And literally when that goal went in the 90th minute, there was grown men nearly in tears by me. It was literally, it was horrendous. Even I couldn't speak. I was so down. It was heartbreaking. But yeah, it was a good day out. You know, the police were great as well. Just saying, afterwards there was loads of trouble at QPR, but thankfully Monday was brilliant on all levels. It was great. I think we played well. I think it's different Rowett ball, I think. Yeah. I think he's taken some of the Mowbray stance. I think when we attacked. I thought first half defensively, I didn't think Avery was great, but I think his second half, they grew into the game a little bit more. But Preston, where they are in the league, I can't believe they're up there. It's like Watford, I couldn't believe where they were. They didn't look like a top 6 side to me. And when that goal went in, I mean, you know, it went off, didn't it? Yeah. And I think the limbs and everything proved. And just think that we've created some more atmosphere as well. It was a proper Blues performance. And hopefully we can play like that on Saturday. But thank goodness for that. Do you know what I mean? I think we just need to go now.
I think the way I see it is it's about bloody time we had a bit of luck, and that defender there's fallen on the backside for Jade Stansfield to run through. You know, maybe for 2 or 3 weeks ago, he would have just put that in the stand, wouldn't he, and not fall over, you know what I mean? It's the fine margins. And Craig, I'll come to you next, mate. I mean, we were more than worthy, weren't we, on Monday? And I thought we were worth a point at QPR over the 90 minutes as well, didn't you? But obviously we just wasn't to be.
Yeah, I thought, you know, Friday, you'll never... I mean, firstly, that defender will never strike a ball as clean as that again. He'll never, ever do it again. I thought, I kind of agree with yourself in terms of the first goal. We should have cleared it. We had ample opportunities. It was again one of those where I just think there was a fear factor behind that team. It was unreal where we saw opposite on Monday and a team that was fighting, a team that for me was set up and performed defensively like we would have seen a team defend, for example, with Robbo in the team. And it was almost as though he's that extra little bit was there, that bit of fight, that little bit of I'd said it before, a rocket up the backside they needed was in place. The other thing with Monday was we attacked. When we attacked, we looked really, really decent. And yeah, the stroke of luck. We've been saying it for weeks. Right? How many goals have we conceded where they've taken a nick off somebody? The first one at QPR, for example, took a deflection. So we've seen that so many times that we needed that stroke of luck to hit us. And yeah, let's not forget, there was a midfielder that slid in for the ball that completely missed it. There was a defender that fell over. But actually, he had that much time, it was probably easier for him to miss than put it away like he did. So, huge shout out to Stansfield, because the way he took it afterwards, his celebration, that was a little bit of, I'm sticking my fingers up to you lot because we've had the abuse, we've been trying. So I think that was a little bit of retribution, and that come across in his interview as well. But we deserved it Monday. We fought for it. Do you know the only thing we missed for me? I'd have loved to have seen Gary Rowett walk around the pitch with the rest of the team. But he did leave the pitch pretty quickly. I know we had the concert going on, but he left the pitch pretty quickly. Yeah. Robbo walked around. He got the adulation. But I'll tell you what was lovely to see was him just grabbing onto Ashley Cole and them celebrating together. Bring on Saturday now. The pressure's on Leicester. They've only just, that was their first win over the break for a fair few weeks. They've had a bad run. So the pressure's on them, really, to continue to fight for that final spot. They're guaranteed the playoffs, but they want the top spot, don't they? They want the championship, and it's out of them and Leeds now for me. I still think whilst Ipswich are there, they'll drop away. But I really do, think that the pressure's on them to win that game. They're at home. They're against the team that arguably they should beat. So we can go, I don't want to say fully enjoy it, but we can go a little bit more relaxed than we have been over the past few weeks.
I think, go on, mate.
No, I was just going to say, the other thing for Monday for me were the fans. They were brilliant throughout, backed them through thick and thin. And I tell you, man of the match for me was a very, very close call. And I know we'll probably come on to it, but there's a toss-up between Bakuna and Buchanan for me. I thought Buchanan was outstanding. And his one tackle halfway through that first half, he came straight in off the left. And it timed it beautifully to clear the ball from what was arguably a goal-scoring opportunity. I just thought he was brilliant. And he epitomised for me what we've been missing from the whole of the team for the past few weeks.
I was going to come on to that, Craig, because Iwu obviously, made a mistake there. He let the ball past him, and he wasn't really busting the guts to get back to make up for it either, was he? So Buchanan kind of got him out of jail a bit there. But to be fair, he did, as the game went on, I thought Iwu grew into it as well a bit more, and him and Sanderson. I've not been a Sanderson fan lately, but that was his best game for a while on Monday. I keep saying Saturday. I don't know if anyone else is guilty. But
defensively, we looked sure. We looked really good, I think, defensively. There's always a mistake. There's always a mistake in the team. But once they were out of the way, I thought we were great.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I was hoping to have Buchanan and Iwu centre-backs because I thought they were good together in the other games that they'd played, and they'd only conceded one legal goal in 2 or 3 games, and that was at Millwall away. And, also I was hoping, I think Drama's too good to be left out. I think Drama's a really good player, and he missed out on Monday, but it gives us a good headache, doesn't it? It gives us good options there to have 5 players to choose from in a good back, in a back four. And I do think that four at the back were much better with four at the back in the 4-2-3-1. I think those players looked a lot more, comfortable in it than what they probably did with the back five, I thought. And I think we're a different team with Christian Bielik in front of them as well, because I thought he was outstanding as well on Monday. Yeah. But also,
and we're a better team with a full house at St Andrews.
Yeah,
oh God,
yeah, of course.
You know,
does make a difference.
But that's
a huge difference.
Yeah, that team was a good reflection though of Gary Rowett and Paul Robinson, what they were like when they were both players.
Yes.
But,
Bielik was absolutely brilliant on Friday. I've got to admit, he was sensational on Friday. He was player of the match by a mile. So I'm glad he's back.
At QPR, yeah?
I always say about Bielik, he never gives the ball away. He don't always make wonder passes, but if he's got his feet and he's surrounded by three, he'll shuffle his arse around and move them off. And, okay, it might be a simple pass sideways, but we still got the ball and we're still moving forward. And if he gets it again, he'll do the same again. And he is. I mean, he's an international footballer. I know you guys don't think that anybody but England can play international football, but he's an international footballer, and he's got a partner with him who is also an international footballer, and he's every bit as. He does the same thing. He doesn't give the ball away very often. They'll surround him and he'll shuffle and he'll turn. And he'll face back towards his goal and maybe slip it there, but he doesn't give it away, and that's what's been happening for the last 6 weeks. We give the ball away, and people pounce on us. They're back at us, and if we give the ball away in attacking third, we're open. I mean, It was better in both games. It was better from that point of view. I'll just say one thing about the bloke falling over. He fell over because Stansfield skinned him. He dropped his shoulder and went the other way, and the bloke fell on his backside. So there was give Stansfield a bit of credit for that, because he was away like the wind. And
he took it really well.
He was the only bloke in the side. If you'd have said pick a side, pick a bloke to be in that position, you'd have gone for him, because he's got his one-on-ones. He'll put them away, and I must admit, from where I thought, oh God, he's missed, but it nestled in the corner. When I've seen the replay, it was 6 inches from the post. The three goalies wouldn't have stopped it, and it was just class.
I think some of the point is, though, with international footballers, we've had some players down the Blues over the years that were international footballers that are probably getting to my worst ever 11, the likes of Ferdinand Coley and Carlos Costley.
Yeah, well, I know that. Yeah, Carlos Costley, didn't he play for some island somewhere? But I'm talking about genuine international footballers, teams that play for European sides of some stature, including Wales.
Bielik obviously has played in the World Cup, hasn't he, for Poland? So,
absolutely.
He's a good player, Bielik. I like him, I always have. But Mark Adams,
he gets it, doesn't he?
Yeah. Give us your thoughts, mate. And obviously, I guess we've pretty much said most of the stuff about QPR and Preston now. But anything you want to add that we haven't said?
I just want to say a shout out to Sunich, to be honest. He could have sulked, his career could have been over. He came back from Germany, could have thrown his dollies out the pram and all the rest of it. But he's just got on with things, hasn't he? And he kind of typifies us at the minute. I'm glad he's back in the fold, Sunich. Jay, what more can you say about Jay? I'd love him to stay next season. I don't think he will. I think unless we sign him, I think he's going to be snapped up. Don't know if it'll be a Premier League team or it'll be a top Championship side, but the work he puts out every week. Most of his work is down the channels. So I'd love to see him with a proper strike partner. Similar to like Buki and Shea. It's almost like he's, in a way, he's wasted all that energy, because I'd love to see him just straight down the middle. They owed us after Friday. Because on Friday, I think everything you don't want to see in a relegation scrap we saw on Friday, but they made up for it big time on Monday. And like what we said, the atmosphere, they fed off the crowd, the atmosphere, UB40 afterwards just added to the whole thing. And it's just a taste of what, if we're consistent, who's there to be scared of if we can get a few runs together next season?
We just got to focus on staying up first, though. We've got to get through this storm.
I know.
It's not over. It's not over after that one win.
No.
So
what I would say, Paul, I'm fed up of seeing shock results never go our way. So at Leicester, why can't we, for once, get a shock result? Half times, everyone's looking at the phones thinking, bloody hell, so-and-so winning like Blackburn at Sunderland. I'd love it to be us for once, for us to get a shock 3 points. Surely at some point we're going to do that. But we're not out of the woods yet, but it's looking a lot more better, a lot more breathable.
Yeah, a win makes a big difference, doesn't it, Mark Meredith?
Definitely.
No.
Well, definitely. It builds confidence to everybody. I'm sure the players and fans and whatever else. And we have got to be careful. We can't. After Friday, I know Saturday morning after Friday's game, it was a very depressing weekend, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And everything just seemed really bad. And honestly, I didn't even think we'd get the 3 points on Monday, but came out and played a real good performance. I think, you guys have said it well. I think everybody on the field did their job. I love Bellick as the 6 now with another 6 next to him. And I think, you can use Paik or Sonic there. And I think it's, decent. The formation was good. Thought Sanderson had a good game, and I was the first to say that Sanderson was the worst after Friday. I thought Monday he played well again, and I seen Robbo go over to him at the end and give him a big hug. And I just thought, Robbo's probably the type of player that can get the best out of someone like Sanderson and get his confidence back. So nice to see that as well. But, it's difficult. I'm still not, head over heels with things, because we go to one of the toughest places on Saturday. And what we have to hope for is that the results around us go well as well, because, we could still be in the bottom 3 come Saturday if we don't get a positive result ourselves. Nice to see Plymouth being stuck down there. Blackburn got a fantastic result and moved away a little bit, but it's still around, 4-5 points. But I'd be happy if we saw it next week and we're still out of the bottom 3 after the Leicester game. Obviously, I'll be delighted with that.
The fixtures aren't as helpful. I mean, you're right. We could be in the bottom 3 on Saturday, because the fixtures. I looked at them and I thought, there's that. Of the bottom ones, it's only us this time that's got the tough game. All the others have got relatively easier games, and if they all won, we'd be in it again.
Exactly.
But then they're all playing each other, so it's QPR, Sheffield Wednesday. Well, QPR on a run anyway, so I'd expect them to hopefully beat them. Huddersfield have got Millwall. Again, Millwall on a run. So, do you know what I mean? And Rotherham play Plymouth. Well, Plymouth are now managerless. Rotherham got a result the weekend. So anything can happen. And fingers crossed we can get something. We played really well against Leicester last time. If we go in, not favourites, maybe we've got to have some sort of away win, I hope.
Yeah. Did Rotherham beat Millwall on Monday?
Yeah, they won on Monday. They beat them.
Yeah.
It'd be just like Blues to get 3 points at Leicester and only 1 from Huddersfield and Rotherham.
With one more point on the board, I'd rather I'll get something from them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think they got, Blackburn beating Sunderland 5-0. 5-1 was it?
5-1.
Put a bet on that, would you, at the start? There's been some really freakish results. Like Leicester, they aren't playing as well as they have been. The pressure's getting to them.
They've won 1 in 6, I think.
Yeah, just typical. We'll go there and probably give them the reward, but I am.
Yeah. But you mentioned, Craig, that Rowett left quite sharpish after the game. Maybe he's not a UB40 fan either.
I thought he clapped Craig.
I saw a video this morning when he was walking around the pitch, clapping everybody, hugging everybody.
Yes, he has, yeah.
He clapped in the centre circle.
Yeah.
I think the thing that what I mean is, he came onto the pitch. Firstly, his celebrations at the end and just before when Gardner just missed, you could see the fight and the passion that he has for the whole of the club. So I don't take that away. He came onto the pitch. and he did clap in the centre circle. The part that I missed was he didn't walk round.
Do you think that, Craig? Do you think that might have been like out of respect, really? You know, I mean, knowing that he's not, he's only interim, thinking, you know, I'm here to do a job, basically.
I think that's great. I still would have liked to have seen him walk around, just purely because he deserves the adulation. You know, he's stepped into the fold for the final 8 games. We've already seen in 2 games, arguably, a team that's 1,000 times better than what we saw under Venus, because we've got leaders in the pack. And I think also, you know, Venus was suffering. Venus was suffering with what was going on with Tony Mowbray. So
we were.
We all were, yeah, and we've done the right thing. But I just would have loved to have seen him come round to take that little bit of thanks from the fans, because Claire mentioned it already, right? But when we scored the goal, the noise in the stadium, first of all, was massive. But at the end, I just wish I'd have got a video of it. Limbs everywhere. Yeah. It was unreal. It was as though we'd won the league. You know, the celebrations at the end of the game. Yeah, it was brilliant. And, you know, we've got offers now. We were calling out for it the other week, in fact, on the show. Let's do offers. Let's see what we can do to get people back into the ground. Yeah. Season ticket holders can get people into the final 3 games of the season for a reduced price. Yeah. I'll help. I'm here. I'll help people.
Same, I've already sold about 10 tickets, I think.
Yeah. You know, if people want tickets and they can't afford it at the full price, get in touch. We'll help out. We've also got the games and the tickets still available, and people can put names forward from the Australian supporters group, right? It's great. Let's get people down. I'm looking at the message board, so I just want to answer one thing. Nathan Colbert, what am I on about? We got 3 points. I totally agree. Not knocking the 3 points. What I'm saying is, I wanted Rowett to take the thanks from the fans that he deserved. Nothing else. Nothing, plain and simple. That's what I wanted him to do. Hopefully, Nathan, that answers it.
Craig was probably knackered by the end of it, because he was so...
Oh, gosh, yeah.
He was
probably just didn't even think about it. He come out and clapped in the centre circle around all the 4 sides of the stadium, didn't he?
Yeah.
Robbo went up to the Tilton, didn't he, and got a good reception.
Yeah.
And,
brilliant, yeah.
He clapped me. He clapped me. He says, thanks for coming, Chris. Yeah.
I think for me, when we...
He took your hand as well, didn't he, Chris? He gave you a ticket to watch UB40 as well.
He said, you want to come for a curry? I said, nah.
I mean, so we're not safe yet. So you probably thinks we've got 3 points.
Yeah.
Now we need to build on it. If we overindulge in this and then we lose 4-0 against Leicester, all of a sudden it doesn't weigh up. Do you know what I mean? He's got a job to do. If we're safe with 3 games to go, he'll probably do a lap of honour. You know what I mean?
The last game against Norwich, that's when he'll be doing all that. If we're hopefully job done and we're safe, I think the Norwich game will be time for all that.
That's a really good segue to what I was about to say, thanks, Claire. So we haven't done this now for a little while, so I want to now know, all our viewers and everyone here, what is our relegation radar number now? So mine is now, I would say I've got every faith in Gary Rowett to keep us up. I have now, I think. I think he's going to organise us and he's going to get us playing to our strengths. You know, in time, I think the more the games go on as well, the better we'll get and the more comfortable the players will be. I'm not saying we're going to go to Leicester and win, don't get me wrong, but I just think over the next 6 games, we'll have enough to stay up, in my opinion. So I think I'm going to go down to a 6 now on my relegation radar. Mark Meredith?
I was thinking I'm going to be at about a 7. And you know what? At QPR, at Saturday morning after QPR, I was a 12. So it has gone down. But I still, like I said in my first conversation, I'm still not head over heels, with excitement for everything. I still think we've got some tough games coming up. And we just need to, get around and just, even if we get 1 point from games, just keep battling and getting the points we can get on the board.
Yeah, I think 2 wins will do it. And I think we'll get those, in some of the games. I really do. I'll probably more than likely be at home. We're probably going to end up going to Rotherham and Huddersfield and drawing or losing, don't get me wrong. But I think 2 wins against Cardiff was hopefully next week. And, maybe even Coventry. It's about bloody time we beat them.
Yeah, I hope so.
But, yeah, Claire, give me your relegation radar now. What's your score?
I totally agree with Mark. I think if you had asked me on Friday night, I think I would have gone 20 because it was just heartbreaking. I think we've got to get away form right. I think the home form's brilliant. You know, I think we've lost about 5 all season. I believe my heart is saying like a 4. I don't see it, but my head's like 6 or 7. But I generally, you know, I think if we see some fight now, Robbo's in there and everything, I think we just got to take each game as it comes and really plan it and go for it and just pray and hope. It's the hope that kills you, though. That's the problem with Blues.
Yeah. I think if you looked at the bottom 6 teams and you had to pick one manager, surely it'd be ours now, wouldn't it? Gary Rowie's got to be the best manager out of those 6 managers down there, isn't he? I would say. We've
got to build momentum. There's always one team within the bottom that has momentum going into the last 5-6 games. Yeah. Hopefully after this win we can build some. If we lose against Leicester, fine. Do you know what? We're not expecting anything. We can get a point. That will all of a sudden you're building something, and it's going to be our home games. Next week is going to be next week, isn't it? Cardiff and Coventry. If we win those, if we get 4 points from those 2 games, I think we'll be fine. But I've said this all along, and I had lots of criticism on here. I said you've got to get to 50 points as soon as possible, and everyone went no. If you get to 50 points, you're safe.
Yeah. So, I thought you said points.
I've probably got to 50 points by the time I've watched the Blues away. Come on, I've only seen 3 wins all season. Give me a chance.
Alan, give me yours, mate. I know you was an 8 when I asked you last time.
Yeah, it's dropped a bit. I'll go 6.5. I echo what Claire's just said. It's very difficult. I mean, it was such a relief. I mean, I'd spent the whole of the Easter holidays. I went to obviously QPR on the Friday. I saw the girls on a Sunday, and if anything was depressing, that was. And then I came all the way from London to Birmingham. You know, I don't know what I'd have been like. I was so tired anyway. But I think I would have. I might not have made it back home if we'd have lost. But I think there's 2 things. This business about our defence, who's good and who isn't good. What it wasn't in the last 5 or 6 games was a unit. You know, people made mistakes, but there was nobody backing them up, and that saving tackle by Buchanan on Monday, that was, you know, that at that moment, yes, Awu made a mistake. I think he stopped because he was going to get skinned, and if he'd have gone through with it, he'd have kicked the bloke off the pitch, and who knows. But he didn't. But somebody backed him up. Now, QPR, nobody backed anybody up. You know, they're all standing there, look, you cleared it. No, you clear it. And it didn't get cleared. Whereas, again, on Monday, especially that into extra time when the ball started bubbling around in our box, somebody just put their bloody boot through it, kicked it the length of the field. You go and fetch it, you know. And that was the... You know, that was the thing that struck me more than anything. That, you know, these blokes were, you know, backing each other up and one covering the other and so on and so forth, which hasn't been happening. That's why people get skinned, because they don't know whether to go or stop. But it was so much better, so much better. I still think we got to score some more goals. You know? Yeah. Still got to score some more goals, because what happened Friday can happen anywhere. Yeah. You know, a misheader flies to somebody's. I mean, I reckon I've seen 10,000 headed clearances in my lifetime, and not one has ever flown in the net like that. You know, yes, it wasn't a great clearance, but it just went to their bloke who's never scored a goal in his life before, and it ends up in the back of their net, and you think, what do we do to deserve that? You know. Mm.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah. Craig, what's your radar now, mate? Relegation radar between 1 and 10.
I think I'm on a 7. I will say very, very flat. I don't know one person that wasn't after Friday because it was so gut wrenching. But I think we've got enough in us, and we've got. You know, I mean, they've what is it? Just over 2,200 tickets to go to Rotherham.
Yeah.
Right, we'll pack that out. We'll make a row. That to me, when you look at the games that are left, that could be arguably their last game in this league, in a position where they can say they're still there. So they might just have to come out at us, you know, and again, for me, any team that seems to attack us at the moment plays into our favour a little bit, because I still believe we're better on the counter attack than we are just going forwards on our own, you know, and just full out. So yeah, 7, and you know, go to the weekend. I don't care.
Am I hearing myself right here? Your relegation worries are more than Alan's, and then two or three. When
Alan said 6.5, didn't he?
I did.
Okay. 6. So if we're going lower, then 6.5. There we go. I'll go with the chairman. So I got it mixed up. 4 out of 10. Yeah, no. It's. We're going to be all right. We just got to stay positive. You know, negativity breeds negativity, and if we'd have all gone into the grounds on Monday thinking we were going to lose that game, then I don't believe we'd have got the result that we did. I think we'd have still been struggling because the fans didn't back them. The fans back them, and we've got an opportunity with these final 3 games to really, really get behind them. I don't want to be in a position that on the Norwich game we're looking over our shoulders. What I'd love nothing more is Norwich to be fighting for their position, so that we can have a really open and enjoyable game, similar to that we did when we played Fulham, and we beat Fulham on that last day of the season and ultimately made them look very, very silly that day. And I'd love us to be in that same position again. And, you know, Lilypad's put on the message board, actually, come the last game of the season, if we're safe, would they love to see another band being in St Andrews signing us off for the season? I think what a great idea, and I know we'll come on to it in a minute, but it was such a difference. And I think it'd be absolutely brilliant to just go into that.
Ocean Coliseum, man. Ocean Coliseum.
I want the Applejacks.
Anybody, because it will be a party. Be a party. Let's go.
Or ELO would be good, actually.
Oh, yeah, fantastic. Yeah.
I love ELO.
Yeah, go on, Mark. What's your radar now?
No, not Gary Glitter. Sorry.
I'm a 7. I think we'll be fine. I'm still a bit cautious, but I'm 7.
You're a 7.
I think we're going to be.
You're a 7, and you think we will be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say 7, actually. 7, yeah.
See, well, I was an 8. Well, I've gone down to a 7.
Yeah.
So I think we are going to lose the game before the end of the season. You know.
Yeah.
But we shouldn't panic when we do lose that game.
No, not at all. Yeah. Yeah. Chris?
7.
As Claire said earlier, I think, you know, even if we haven't got to worry too much about the rest of the game. If we do lose, we've still got enough in the bag. You know what I mean? I just think we was talking about this only a couple of weeks ago, how we were dreading the Preston game. You know what I mean? And but I'm probably on about 7 myself as well.
Yeah,
got it. I watched on my phone. It sent me, "This is what you were doing 12 months ago," and it sent me one of my video blogs, and I said, "Now we got more points with 5 games to go than we got in the entire season the previous year, and we were safe for relegation." And I was saying, you know, let's really play now. Let's really show the world what we can. And we lost all 5 games. So we actually, when we finished up, we were only just 1 point outside the relegation because we just gave up after the end. Now, to be honest, I'll settle for that this year. I'll forgive them if we're safe with 2 games to go and we lose the last 2. I'll forgive them. I was angry last year. No, we shouldn't have done this. We should have, really pushed on and got as many points as we could, and we didn't. But this year, I will more than happily let them lose the last 2 if we're safe, because I can't be going on like this. I'm too old. Man.
No. Yeah. I want to also take opportunity. I just want to take this opportunity as well to wish Ian Dutton all the best, because he's officially left the club now.
Yes.
And at the end of the game on Saturday, before I left as well, I looked behind me and there he was, like putting his thumb up back to me. So, Ian, if you're listening, mate, it was great to be able to, just exchange thumbs ups with you on your last game, as a member of staff at the club, and wish you all the best with what's coming ahead next. And I'm hoping to talk him into coming on to join us soon as well. So we'll see what happens there.
He probably will now.
Yeah.
10 years. 10 years I was asking.
Ian's running the Birmingham half marathon, and he is doing it as kind of like his swan song for the club. So even though he's left, he is still doing it, and all funds and there's numerous fans actually that will be running will go to the Birmingham City Foundation. So I will post a link, but let's get behind these guys that are doing it on behalf of Birmingham. And if you are out there and do go and watch the runners on the day, you won't miss them, because they're all got specially made Birmingham City running vests, so you'll see them all coming through. So let's give them as much support as possible, and we'll post some links towards the fundraising as well to help them raise as much as possible. But yeah, Paul, I totally echo that. What a way to sign off. 3 points to St Andrews, a concert with UB40, and arguably the guy who I think it's probably fair to say over the past 3 seasons has helped the club survive. So massive thank you, Ian, and from all the fans, I think it'll be the same.
Yeah, no, he's done an outstanding job. I remember him with all his sort of wavy blonde hair back in 2007 when I first met him. He's just such a great bloke, been a great servant to the club, and he's I'm not sure what they're going to do with his duties now, whether they're going to be split across different people or whether they're going to replace him or what. I don't know, but they're going to have a job replacing him. I know that for sure, because he's been absolutely outstanding for the club, hasn't he? All the years he's been there.
Definitely. Just following from that for Paul as well. I've been I read it on Facebook and stuff, but Anthony Routley and the guys that did the Easter egg collection again this weekend.
Oh,
it was amazing just to see that. So big shout out to them as well, I think.
Yeah, 1,200 eggs, I believe.
1,200 eggs.
Wow.
Brilliant.
Brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely incredible. What Tony Routley and all the guys do on those buses is just incredible, isn't it? Really, definitely. Just from the whole thing, really, from what they put on for the fans on the away days and everything. I keep saying I'd love to get on one. I will do eventually, but I watch Davo's diaries all the time, and they're just great. And man, Jimmy as well. Jimmy's just a legend, and he's just my daughter absolutely loves that man. Honestly.
We're going to change his song now. I've put a special request into Routley now that he changes it. Elvis is great, but we've got to have him singing Forever Blue. It's simple.
And
I've got to say, Paul, I know you didn't stay for the concert. I know you weren't a fan of UB40, but have you got that song out your head yet? Because I know one thing. I just cannot stop hearing it. It's brilliant.
You listen to it.
And it's number 1.
And it's number 1.
And those down the road are trying to hijack it with something else, which is just
They can wheel out Nigel, can't they?
Yeah, they ain't got nothing, have they? They've got no anthem, they've got no song. They have to pitch up people's songs every time. I remember how embarrassing it was when they were playing Don't Look Back in Anger after every game. What was that all about?
Yeah. And they keep showing who after the subs. Get a grip.
No, I was a few teams doing that now.
I know when the big announcements are made about the new stadium, the local papers and started projecting about them having a new ground, and basically the article it was Villa in this, that, and the other, and we can't expand anymore. We need a 60,000 and basically this thing was written, but the conclusion was it could never happen. And I thought, what a waste of paper. You know, what was that? It was just something to basically, you know,
it's a story. It's
just a story to spoil, you know, a bit of somebody else's pleasure. We'll talk about ours. Well, you ain't got anything to talk about.
Yeah, I think we better come on to that, hadn't we? Because it's such big news. And, you know, at the moment, we're all struggling to see past these last 6 games and looking at it short term, obviously, because we just want to survive. But, you know, if it had been any other time, like this time last year, like you said, Al, when we were safe, you know, we would have been buzzing about that, wouldn't we? But
yeah, absolutely.
It's so exciting, though, isn't it? The thought of a new stadium opposite of Birmingham Wheels and, you know, having a whole complex there that's going to host concerts and other sports as well, and a new stadium, you know, it's just so exciting, isn't it? And hopefully we can then get rid of the Gypsies curse and have a completely fresh start and new beginnings as we do move into there. But I'm not expecting it to be any time in the next sort of 2 to 3 years. What do we think? Maybe 5 years or what?
5 years. 5 years.
Yeah.
5 years. At the moment, it worries me a little bit because it depends how many seater they want to do it. At the moment, we're struggling to even fill our ground at the moment. So I would like it that we can actually establish ourselves, first of all, as a championship club, have a few decent seasons. If we go up, we go up, or if we're pushing for playoffs, get those fans back in. And then we then get a new stadium, because at the moment, if you go with half-empty grounds, you've got no atmosphere. You know, when we go to places like Reading and Coventry and Cardiff, they've got half a stadium, far too big for them.
Yeah.
And you've got no atmosphere. I mean, Coventry feel it when we go because, you know, we're a derby, aren't we? But, yeah, I just think that's the worry. Do we go too big too soon? But, I mean, the gig was fantastic. And, you know, I suggested on Twitter, why don't we do party at Night Ahead Park? Get a few people down. Do you know what I mean? As soon as the pitch is done, rip the pitch up. You know, so it's going there, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think for me, big screens that they put up, you know, they need to stay there for the Euros, because we could get money in that way as well, you know, host the England games for the Euros at St Andrews, and let's all enjoy it together. Yeah. Let's all enjoy it together as Blues fans, and hopefully watch us lift the trophy on them screens. That'd be incredible.
Can I just say, on the concert front, we had a message through on our talk show group on Facebook, and I just wanted to read it out because I think it just shows
it's on these
two things: the family that we've got as a group of fans, but also how the club has changed. And it was from Stephen Doyle, who wrote to us to say that he watches the show every week. So thank you, Stephen. Saturday, as he said, was an incredible day for his family, as they're all Blues. But Matt Doyle of UB40 asked if he would bring his nan, his granddad, his mum and dad as well to the game to stay and watch him live for the first time. His mum, or sorry, I should say Stephen's mum, 84, and dad is 86, with unfortunately early stages of dementia. So he's been a little unsteady on his feet. What he said was they got to the ground. His mum and his dad were treated like royalty by Lorraine at Cop Reception. So thanks, Lorraine, for starting out their day just as well as it ended. But they weren't in the posh seats, as he put it. They were in the lower cop. It suited them. And even at half-time, even though there was a challenge, all the Blues fans helped the parents up through the steps, steadying them to make sure that they could get across to the facilities. As he said at the end of it, it was a family thing, and winning the game and seeing them jump up and down was priceless. Blues fans are the best in the world, and they help and support everyone involved. It made his family's day, and he treated them at the end of it to Legends Bar and the Alliance Bar with UB40, which, as he said, was a dream and a bonus. So thank you.
Fantastic.
And this is from Stephen to all the people at the club and Lorraine for helping make it so perfect, and that he'd also like to say that Matt wrote the song.
He did, yeah.
Forever True. So it just gave them goosebumps to hear it sang, which I got to say, I want to put a poll out there, actually. How many people now have it as their ringtone on their phone? Because I can tell you, my wife and my daughter have now got it because it was their first request. Not the song, but hearing the fans singing it.
Yeah.
So it's just brilliant. But
I would love to get Matt on the show if we can at any time. It would be brilliant to get him on, wouldn't it?
That'd be good.
This thing about stadiums and how big they should be and whatever. For my sins, I went a tour of the Tottenham ground on Saturday morning or Friday morning, right before the game. I went all the way across to White Hart Lane, as it was, and back to Loftus Road and back then home. Anyway, about 150 miles by the time. But the point I'm going to make is it was breathtaking, right? Mm. You forgot it was a football ground. It could have been a shopping mall or whatever. The club shop was about 10 times bigger than ours. But what we pay? Well, we didn't pay. We got a voucher, and we got to our voucher was for 10 o'clock, right? And there were about 30, 40 people on this tour. Now we thought that would be it for the day, but no. Every 15 minutes there was another tour starting, and every one of these 15-minute tours had another 30 or 40 people. So it was 27 quid to go round. And quick sums, that's $1 million a year, just on tours, right? Yeah. We do one a day if we're lucky. They did 10. And you've never seen so many Son shirts bought. 90% of the people there were Korean, right? And they were walking around with 8 or 9 Son shirts, right, of various sizes. You could see there was big ones and there was little ones for the kids. And they were exporting these things. Now, the tour itself, because it's so new, if you'd have gone around White Hart Lane, you'd have had memories of, we've all been to White Hart Lane, see the Blues, so I would have had memories. But I haven't seen the Blues there, but it was such a thrill to see what they've done. And if we do the same, if we can get 1,000 people through the door every day just to walk around the ground and buy a cup of coffee at 4.5 nick at a time and a shirt at 45, 50, 60 quid or whatever, that's, I'm thinking like Mr. Wagner now. This is what we want to do.
You look a bit like that's right.
This is what we want. This is, if it's a super stadium, people will come from not only Birmingham City fans, people will say, I was in Birmingham the other week and I went to see the ground. That's the kind of thing that we've got to balance. It's no good building a 90,000 seater stadium and having 25,000 in it. It's got to be 40, 50, 55 at the most, and have it 3/4 full 90% of the time, and people visiting it every day of the week. And you can't with honestly, I went from there to Loftus Road. It was like going back in time, because the first thing I saw when I got off the bus was Metropolitan Police coppers on horseback riding everybody up. And we come from civilised place to basically a dump.
They don't like us there.
They don't like us. We had loads of trouble, Alan. But following that, I think Man City and Liverpool, Man United, they all do them, but also they've got more coverage, especially with the Premier League. Not saying that people don't know who we are, but I think, when you got Son there, I know that with Paik and Miyoshi, we have got now like a Japanese, South Korean following, which you need. But I think also, Liverpool is all over the world. Not saying that we're not, but I think that because of their history, they're fighting for the Premier League. When I went to Liverpool one day, literally this bloke bought 50 Salah shirts, because he was going to give them to the whole community in Egypt or something like that.
Yeah.
So I think we could get there. It's just going to take a lot longer. But I mean, the Tottenham ground is absolutely breathtaking. I saw a boxing match there.
Everything stems from the results on the pitch, doesn't it? And the team.
It does in the end.
Yeah.
It's no good having a 55,000 seater stadium and being in League One. It's pointless. It's going to be part of the vision, if you like. Yes, we will be a Premier League side within the next 5 years, and we will have a stadium that says we're a Premier League side, and we'll fill it because we'll be able to reduce, instead of charging 35 quid, probably in 5 years' time, 35 quid probably mean nothing, but we won't be having to charge 50 and you get 50,000 people in paying 30 quid. It's better than 20,000 paying 35, 40 quid.
Don't we think? Sorry, don't we think that outside of Blues, a lot of people are thinking, Birmingham have got this, 45, 50,000 stadium. It's going to be half empty. I don't think people are grasping that it's a 7-day-a-week thing we're going to be doing.
Yeah,
it's not
exactly right.
It's for the city, isn't it?
That's
That's
what
NFL,
hit you.
Possibly.
That's what hit you when you walked in the Tottenham ground. It's like walking into a shopping centre. It's open every day.
What's it like over there, Mark Meredith? What's the stadiums over there? Is it similar sort of thing in America?
Yeah, the MLS stadium here, FC Dallas, is a lot smaller. It holds about 25,000, I think, and you don't get that many there, honestly. If you obviously look at the Cowboy Stadium, that's 120,000, and that's probably sold out every single NFL game. The difficult thing is there's one club in the whole of Dallas that people are going to see. Obviously, we have a lot of Midlands teams, and in football we have so many different people supporting so many different teams in the same areas. But I totally get what everybody's saying, but I also agree with you, Paul. I think it's results on the field that's going to change everything. And if this is why it's so important we stay up this year, because if we did get relegated, then I think you're 2 years behind in the plan straight away, because that's going to change everything about the club and the fans and everything like that. So I really think if we stay up this year, he's going to spend some money, like he said. I believe that. Yeah. And I think, I agree with what Claire said. I think then you have 2 or 3, 4 seasons as either a good championship club or even pushed into the Premier League. Then you start making those decisions on bigger stadiums.
Wasn't there a mention today of some 54 million pounds being invested today? Was it?
Going to say it's probably a good time to talk about the announcement today of the figures that have been released, and for those that have seen it, in short, it is saying that Knighthead are going to and have already committed to spending 58 million, I think it is, to put into the structure of the club to allow us to continue running as we expect. Now, this is the final set of revenue figures under what you would see as the previous ownership. So, from next season, we should see a difference. But I think what is very clear is it's showing how badly we have been previously run. But it is also showing the commitment that these guys have, not only to the club, but to the city. They've made this commitment. There's nothing formal ever come from the club now we had around a stadium and around purchasing the land. Nothing has come out from the club. No. But I think it's fair to say there's no smoke without fire. If they are looking to invest that sum of money into that plot of land and develop that into a sports complex, then that shows their commitment. And I think people that were worried that even if we were relegated, they would walk away, need to just look at themselves now and realise they're going nowhere. They see this for the future. Let's see what it brings. But 58 million that they will put forward to allow us to act as an ongoing concern, as I think it is called. But then that was also very quickly followed up with statements around the strengthening of the squad, and that, yes, we will look to strengthen the squad in the summer, but don't expect tens of millions to be spent, because that won't be available. And let's also not forget, we can only spend what we bring in. I saw a really interesting stat. I'm just trying to pull up the email that I was sent, but it gave a comparison of just how far behind we are. So to put it into context, we talk about the amount of money that's got to be put into the club and how much revenue, etc., we're bringing in and what we spend. Spurs' wage bill, £251 million a year. But that is 45% of their revenue. West Brom, their wage bill is 48 million, which is 80% of their revenue. Blues' wage bill,
28
million. So 145% of what we bring in as revenue. So that shows you, in terms of a business model, how far behind we have actually been. And do I see us being in that position in 2 years' time? No. I think there's still some big announcements to be made. I think there's a lot to come out from the club. And it's worth saying, next week is the next open house. If you've got any questions that you want put on the night, please send them through. I'm representing the Blues from a Solihull supporters group perspective, so I will be there. From what we're hearing, Tom Wagner will be present along with some of the other management team as well. So if you've got any questions and anything that people want to put forward, let us know, and I'll by all means take forward as much as I possibly can on the evening. But I think that just puts into perspective where we are as a club. We are miles behind others. And you think that West Brom are in financial difficulty.
I saw that today. Yeah.
Their situation, it just shows you how much money can be presented in the Premier League. So that's why we've got to aspire to be there. But I do agree, I don't want to be there next year. I don't want to be there in 2 years' time. You know, I would love to play the big boys, but I want to be in a position when we do go there that we can stay there. I don't want to be one of these young teams.
I think they've answered a lot of questions by really just saying now that they are there for the long run, aren't they? The owners, definitely. Whatever happens.
Yeah, what they've done. I mean, St Andrews looks completely different now, doesn't it, to what it did 12 months ago? Yeah. So what they've done in a short space of time, you know, off the field is amazing. But thanks to everyone for your comments, by the way, on the chat box. Well, should we come to a few now, Chris?
Yeah,
have we got many?
There's tons and tons. Okay, I'll pick a few. What did we do? Why the hell did we release Bernard's son? Says Michael Woods.
Is that his question for Tom Wagner?
Yeah.
That's the first question.
Any news on the remainder of the takeover? Purchasing the final shares? Anything on that, Craig?
Nothing that I've heard. But what I would say is the divergence of shares with the remaining ones for the Chinese group. It was often said that they couldn't buy the club fully until they had moved their funding away to another area. Now, believe from areas that have been presented that some of that divergence has happened, and that the Chinese owners, I believe, are looking at electrifying cars, and so they're now looking at that as a route forward. So, if that is the case, it should offer us an opportunity. But I tell you what, I'll take that as a question into next week, and if we get the opportunity to ask them, I'll ask.
Good one, yeah. Another question is, where does that £54 million come from? It's clearly not a free loan. Now, you're a banker, Craig. I mean, no. I mean, it rhymes with banker. I mean,
it's not just me then.
I think what generally happens is it's the same as what you see in a lot of clubs, and that's the purchase of shares or a a loan in the form of shares, which then diversifies based on the price that's put into place. But I also think it comes down to the backing of the owners and what they're willing to put forwards, because it's basically saying that they've got to find 58 million to keep us going, and that they're willing to put that in. Now, they must see something. I think we all know. They don't see a football club. They see a community. They see a city. They see a city that, as the video, for those that watch Blues TV or those that have seen the announcements of the club, they are classing it as Birmingham on the rise again. And they're not solely talking about a football club there. They're talking about the city. So they're in it for the long haul, you know, and as much as we back them, the better it is. And let's look at next season and what they should do with season tickets or ticket pricing. There's a lot of questions being asked this season around why does it cost so much? Well, we've got a full season. We've got now a full season coming up where we will have the whole stadium open. Be interesting to see what they do with season ticket prices. Yeah. I'll be honest, I'd love nothing more than to see them drop. And I think if they drop them in the current environment, they will attract people in.
I think so, yeah.
But also, there's so many different ways that as a club and as fans, people don't realise the routes that you can take to get like a ticket for the game. So, Klarna, you can buy shirts, you can buy merchandise from the club using Klarna. So basically, you can have it in effect over a short period on interest-free. Your season tickets, for those people that haven't purchased them in the past and that wasn't aware of it, right? So season tickets obviously work out cheaper across the whole period. People can't afford to pay it outright. But you can have 10 months interest-free credit through the club. So there's all these different routes that we need to make attractive. We need to draw people in, right? We need the kids. The kids are the future. So we need to make sure that those that we've got on board now, we're continually getting on board, filling the stadium, getting the people in, getting the, families back down to St Andrews, because that's what we need to see moving forwards. We all know the hardcore, no matter what, we'll be purchasing. I could turn around and say, I could say, Paul, I'm pretty certain that you will have yours and your daughters again next season. Claire, I know you definitely will have yours. Mine and my family, they will be there. Mark, I can say it for yourself. I'm guessing the same for yourself. So the hardcore of fans will do it. Now it's time for the club to attract the others back in. Go back to that pricing for the final 3 games. Take advantage. Don't just come down on your own. Bring your family. Bring the kids. Yeah. They might not see the football that you see at Man United. Yeah. Bring your boots, yeah.
You know what we said, though, Craig, at the Blues Matters thing, though? It was quite enlightening, actually, because I said, why don't we go make it cheaper? And they said, actually, the more money they've made is from people thinking they're going to miss out. Doing this £15 for season ticket holders, actually, as a season ticket holder, it makes me feel a bit more valued. And I think that, like me and my mum were talking about it today, and we were saying that actually giving it to season ticket holders to go, look, I can get you the ticket for £15, come with us. More people want to do it because more people don't want to miss out. Well, actually making the tickets cheaper doesn't help. So they make more money from that way.
It's clever. It's very clever, isn't it?
It's very clever. It's a brilliant business model. And one that I think we'll see more of. It's just now next steps. Let's find out what's coming next. And I really do look forward to next Tuesday and the announcements that will be made. And hopefully, like I say, we can come to the show afterwards. And following on from it, there will be stuff that we can divulge out to people. So, but please, like I say, go back to it. There's loads of questions coming in, so thank you to those.
I've got a serious question here, actually, serious one. Can we change the mats in reception? They look so cheap.
Who said that?
No comments. But yeah, coming back onto matters on the pitch, if the ambition is to get us in that top 6 in the next sort of 1 to 2, 3 seasons, how many of these players that we've got now do we realistically think could be in a promotion or I'll say a top 10 or top 7 or 8, team in this league? How many?
I could name them.
Go on then. Go on, Claire.
Buchanan.
Yeah, I agree.
Laird.
Yeah.
Drame.
Yeah.
Billick.
Yeah.
James, if he stays.
Yeah.
Stansfield.
If we can get him.
Pike.
Yeah. Do you not
and
think
possibly Miyoshi? Those would be my 8.
Yeah.
What about Bakuna? No?
I think Bakuna... The thing is if Bakuna was consistently good, he wouldn't be playing for us.
Yeah.
That's smart. Like, literally, if he was consistently high level, he wouldn't be playing for us. He's the most lovable but frustrating player I've ever seen in a blue shirt, because when he does some things, they're magical.
Yeah.
And instead of, we were talking about it on Monday, that he will go past one player with ease, but he'll try and go past them again and again. Well, instead, just get it in the box and just do your job. But then he'll come up with wonderful strikes against QPR. He will be able to keep it in the corner for 10 minutes. I think if Bakuna's on song, then he would be 9. That would be my core of 9 that you would have. I don't think James will be here at the end of the season anyway. And I think Paik will go to the Premier League in 2 seasons for 15 million. So I think he can play. He is a player and a half.
Yeah, he's a proper footballer.
And I think as well, we need to balance the books a bit. Realistically, we do need probably to sell someone like James. We have to balance the books. Yeah. So it wouldn't be a shock if James, went.
I'd love to see George Hull get his fitness back as well and playing regular, because I think he's very good when he does play, but he just seems to be struggling to get himself fit, doesn't he? And match ready at the moment.
I don't think he'll be good enough. I think we should have jumped when Leeds said 15 million for him. I would have got rid of him. He's got hamstring. They wanted 15 million, didn't they, for George Hull? I just think he's going to be injury prone all his life. It's like another Tyler Roberts in the team. You're paying wages for...
Stuck in that way, isn't it?
Yeah, he's got hamstrings made of glass. As soon as your hamstring goes once, it's torn the muscle.
Yeah. But that's positive then, Claire, because we've got 90% there, shall we say, of a team that we think could finish in the top sort of 8, let's say. I know obviously you need a squad, but we've got the foundations there of a team to get us where we want to be, haven't we, at the moment? In the next sort of 2 to 3 years, we will add to that, and hopefully we can add quality that's the same, if not better, than what we've got as well.
Got to have a big striker up there. Got to get another Jukovic of some sort. Got to get another Hogan in his prime. All the teams at the top have got somebody like Bamford for the Leeds and stuff like that. I think if we can get some good quality young players, bring them in, and then have some really experienced, strong players, I think we'll do okay. Because that's what Ipswich did. Their players are all, they've played with each other for years.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Has anyone thought of anyone that Claire hasn't mentioned that they think is good enough, or is there anyone that you disagree with that Claire said, or are we all pretty much on board with what we've said in relation to what that subject?
Yeah, I agree with the 9. I can't think of anybody. Dembele. Well, he was a boy wonder, and then suddenly he's disappeared off the scene. And he's one of our players. He's not on loan. No. And that's the kind of thing that I worry about. We will struggle to buy Stansfield. Hopefully we can get him, but we need somebody else with him who will cost even more. Yeah. If we get somebody who's good enough to do the things that we want them to do, he'll cost even more. Dembele has gone round and round clubs. We aren't going to get a fat lot for him, are we? If he went tomorrow. Yeah. I worry about James, not whether he goes or whether he stays, but I don't want to get ripped off. I don't want to be Jack Butlanded and who else was there?
Jude Bellingham.
Oh, well, Bellingham, as it turns out.
Redmond.
Yeah,
I'm trying to think of the Gray. What do we get him? 4 million?
Mind you, 25 million for a 17-year-old at the time, I suppose, was okay.
Yeah, of course. But what I'm saying is, if we keep James for another year at least, he will suddenly become. If he remains his progress, he will be worth 15 or 16 million. Then, at the moment, we were lucky to get 5, and then we'll sell him for 5 million, and he'll go somewhere else. And you think, well, hopefully he does well somewhere else. And we would think we let that bloke go for nothing, Yeah. But it's a buyer's market, isn't it? We need money.
That bloke went from Crystal Palace, and he was similar stats to JJ. And I think because he's come through our academy, we've got to put on an extra 5 million just for looking after him for all these years. We've got to start playing a bit hardball instead of just.
Okay, I couldn't agree more with you, Claire. That guy, what's his name, Witten, wasn't it, or something? His statistics are almost the same as JJ's, except he hasn't got a dozen international caps like JJ. Now,
it's only Wales.
If he gets 10, if Palace are willing to pay 10 million for him, then JJ must be worth 15 now, but he won't be until he's done another year somewhere.
And until you play him in the right position every week and not on the left wing.
Yeah. You just took the word five there. I was about to say it needs to be played.
You're not playing players.
If you play him, I mean, one thing that Rooney did when he was here, the only thing he probably did well was play JJ in the 10 behind Stansfield, and I think he scored 4 or 5 goals, didn't he, in Rooney's time here? And if you did that for a season, you might have yourself a Rooney balls.
Rooney balls.
you might have yourself a player there that could get us sort of, between 15 and 20 goals a season from attacking midfield.
To be honest, I mean, one player we haven't. Sorry to put in. Sorry, Craig. One player we haven't really mentioned, I'd like to see have a sort of fresh slate, is Pritchard. Because when he first came in, he did look tasty, but he had his injuries and all the rest of it. But I think he's a decent player.
Yeah.
I don't know anybody else.
Donovan's just been mentioned as well on YouTube. Donovan.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of youngsters that have got to hit our team. Our under-21s are absolutely flying at the moment, and I mean, it begs that question: why do our management team not think that they are ready to step up? Is it a case of just gaining the experience? Is that gulf as big as what they say it is between, playing in the 21s and then coming into Championship football? If it is, then next season, I'm guessing we'd see a lot of the 21s going out on loan to teams to gain experience and come through. But we've also, we mentioned the 21s, but there's also the 18s. They're doing really well as well. We've got, I think, a great crop coming through. Colin Tatham's son, for example, scoring goals for fun. We've mentioned Dixon on many occasions. He's gone very quiet in terms of his name, but he still pops up with the goals. So I think if we lost people like JJ in the summer, it wouldn't surprise me, number one. Would I be disheartened? No, because it's going to be money that's going to come in. And do I think we've got another youngster probably waiting in the wings to come through? Yeah. We probably have got those little gems.
Yeah, got a few.
Yeah.
We've got great support, really. Think about Spooner in the team and what he's done. He is just phenomenal with those kids, bringing them through.
If they go to the if they go to the Premier League, then obviously good luck, off you go. But it's when we're losing them to teams like Sunderland and teams that are where we want to be. Do you know what I mean? In our division, you don't want to be losing your best players to other teams in this division. Is what I'm trying to say. Whereas when they go to the Premier League, I can find that a bit more acceptable.
Yeah. If they're developing and moving forwards, I totally agree.
Yeah.
Paul, I'll ask you a question. If Bellingham had stayed with us, would he be in the team now?
Yeah.
Yes. Instead of who? Instead of who?
I think he would have played. I'm not saying he'd started the game. I think he would have been. He would have had his game time, yeah. And he probably would have. It depends what system we play, but in the 4-2-3-1, I mean, where does he play for Sunderland? Is he playing the 10? Does he be on the striker?
He's like their main striker, isn't he? He's one of the one behind.
We don't seem to play Jordan James there, do we? We're playing to the left, so which I don't like at all personally. I think he's definitely better in the middle. I don't want to see him on the left, but I don't know. It's a good question. But if you've got to choose between James and Bellingham, then this season, I don't know who's got the most goals between them. It's hard.
Well, the main person we need to ask is Mark, because Mark Meredith is a coach. So what would you do, Mark? Who would you have?
Throw me on the spot.
Yeah, I am. Just out there quietly in lovely America.
I was just enjoying
contemplating.
I was enjoying the conversation.
Yeah.
No, I think you named almost everyone that I would have named. I think you can still get a lot out of Dembele. I really do. The same with what Mark said, Pritchard. I think those type of players can still give you a little bit if you can get them back in and fit and playing. I do worry that we won't get Stansfield, and I also worry that obviously JJ will go. So there's two of them you take out of that. It is going to be a big revamp, isn't it? And the younger ones, you know, I'm pretty much at the stage where working with younger ones before, I do think they need to get a little bit of experience. You're going to get the one gem, you know, that you can throw in and they're going to be fine. But the other ones, I think it wouldn't be a problem sending them out on loan for, you know, the first start of the season and see how they do. We've had so many young players come through over the years, and the majority of them have been real high hopes and then probably not ended up where they should be or where they could have been. You know, I seen the Odin Baileys, for instance, and he just scored for Stockport at the weekend. But when he first came through, and I worked with Odin myself when I was at Birmingham, and when he first came through, it was very promising that he would be, let's say, a Jordan James type player right now. But it seemed for him to slip off, you know, and even with Damari, like he's now obviously in Saudi Arabia, but again, he had that move to Leicester. He had to end up winning the Premier League in his first season, and then after the Everton one, he's moved over there, and you don't really hear much about him anymore in those leagues. So, you know, it's difficult. I think we've got to go and spend. I think if we can get enough money for JJ to go out and buy 2 or 3 quality players to put into our squad next year, I think it'd be a good deal. I think we do need, you know, Craig spoke about it earlier. We haven't got all that money still to spend. We still have to make sure we're spending wisely with the revenue that we're bringing in. So we're going to have to sell players. And I think if we can get the big bucks for those type of players, then do it. It'd be interesting to see what Fulham would actually want for Stansfield, because I think that's going to be 5-6 million. Asking price for him, or they're in the same boat with Stansfield that we are with James. You know, we're not going to let him go for cheap. They might even end up sending Stansfield out on loan again next year for another year, hoping that he'll come back and be, you know, Fulham's top striker in 2 years' time. Who knows? So it's really difficult. I think it's
coming back to sorry,
Mark.
Coming back to Alan's question, then, what do you reckon with Joe Bellingham? Do you think he would have played a lot of games this season if we'd have kept him?
I think he'd have been out of the team. I don't think he would have started over what we've got right now. I think, you know, the others, I wasn't too worried when he left from what I'd seen of what I was seeing from him. And I don't know if he's going to ever go past the level of Blues and Sunderland and stuff like that. I don't see him overnight going to a Premier League team and really shining, like, you know. So I wasn't really worried about that one. I think he would have been a bit part player, but, you know, so is James. You know, James is in and out of the team at Blues. I think we're better with him in the team, but I also think that he can be easily replaced by some of the other players that we have if everyone's fit and ready to go. So, you know, I've been listening to the conversation we've had, and we're talking about going off the subject of players right now and going back to stadiums and money. The thing is, the more successful we get, the more it's going to cost to go and watch games. It's not cheap to go and watch a Premier League game anymore. Spurs, Liverpool, anybody like that. So I agree totally with what you said earlier, Paul. It's about the results on the field. I think if you win on the pitch, regardless of what league you're in, then people are going to go and pay amounts of money to go and watch them. And I think that's the biggest thing, is that more success we have, you start bringing in more expensive players, your wage bill goes up, which means your ticket prices go up because people want to go and watch. Overnight here, we went from paying $20 to watch Inter Miami to paying nearly $250 now because Messi and Suarez are there. And people will pay the ticket prices. People will sell out every week because they want to go and watch those two players. So I think, we've got to be mindful of that. As the success comes, we as fans have got to understand that we're paying for what is going on the pitch and not anything else. Yeah.
They've got Sergio Busquets there as well, haven't they?
They got Busquets, they got Aldo. They're talking about Neymar coming in now. So, Beckham's having a really good time of it. But it's craziness to think that you used to be able to walk in and pay on the turnstiles to get into a Miami game, and now you can't get a ticket for 2 years if you go online to try and, unless you pay ridiculous money to get one. But that's the same as anywhere, isn't it? You pay to watch those players. Yeah. If in the FA Cup, for instance, if we get drawn at home to Liverpool, for instance, then there's no worry that we're not going to get a sellout on that game. No. Because the majority of fans are coming into the ground to see Liverpool maybe more than what we are because of their players. And so I think that's what, as we grow and as we bring players in, I think that's going to be the effect that we have on the other side. So, like Claire said earlier, we need to get back to the consistency of having a full house like we used to do in the Premier League. Because regardless who we played then, the atmosphere and everything was magnificent.
Yeah, especially that first season up was just special, wasn't it?
That was unbelievable, wasn't it? It was excitement of being in the league, excitement of the players we'd just bought. We were getting some good results. There was a real buzz around the place, and we don't have that right now. We're still only sitting 2 points ahead of the bottom three in the championship, so we're way off that right now.
Yeah.
And I think that we have to be smart enough to go, we're not going to go and spend 25, 30 million next season and bring all these players in because we're not in that place to do that right now. And so there is going to be free transfers still, and there is going to be little gems coming from the lower leagues. But I think if we keep the 7 or 8 that we talked about and build around them, I think we certainly need 2 new centre-backs, I believe. That might be an argument for other people to say that the 2 we have are good enough, but I think we need 2 new centre-backs. We need a new goalkeeper. I love Ruddy, but he's getting too old now. We need a new goalie in there. So it could be a major revamp this year, but it's a major revamp on not a lot of money, and that's the thing we gotta be smart about.
Yeah, definitely. Brilliant comment here from Tom Richardson. So the loyal season ticket holders who have followed us through thick and thin should not be priced out, which is absolutely right.
No, so true.
The people that have, they've got to think back to the people that have been there, before they came in as well. You know what I mean? You got to look after your own, ain't you?
Mm. I don't think the season ticket prices will go up. I don't think they'll probably go down, honestly. But I think you're going to get to the stage where
they freeze them.
Yeah.
For the next 5 years, you are frozen with your season ticket price. I think everyone can be happy about that. If you knew for the next 5 years that you can be frozen. Like here in the States for the NFL games, you have to buy season tickets 5 years in advance. So you can't just buy a year of season tickets. You have to buy 5 years of season tickets before you can do anything else. And people like, I spent a whole week last week, obviously, with the Steven Gerrard Academy here in Dallas, and we were talking about Liverpool back at home, and you can't get tickets for Liverpool games anymore because season ticket holders are on waiting lists that are thousands and thousands and thousands of people. So you can't even go and purchase a normal match day ticket anymore for grounds like that.
Mark, can I ask you, did he give you his opinion on Rooney's time with us at all? Has he said anything about that?
No, not him directly. Obviously, we laughed and joked with some of the fans of the kids that are Liverpool fans.
Yeah.
I think everybody's in the understanding of they bought Rooney in, as we've said before on the show. They bought Rooney in as a marketing tool, and I think that was a success for us. I think that certainly upped our name around the world. I think it made us some money. Obviously from what we want as fans, results on the pitch, it was, we're in this mess now because of that.
Yeah, we don't need to go over all that now. I just wondered if, I think you did have a call with Steven Gerrard, didn't you, recently at some point, I think you said. And I
didn't mention the Rooney thing to him.
Oh, what a letdown.
Terrible. One job, that's all you had, Mark.
I want my money back.
Did you ask him if he would be ever interested in coming to us?
What, coming on the show?
In place of Road.
No, he used to manage at B6. Like, he broke my heart. Steven Gerrard did by going there.
I think you can still play him. I think you can still play him midfield, to be fair.
He did a wonderful job there, didn't he?
Yeah,
he did.
Robe, you was going to say something, mate, weren't you?
I can't remember now, Paul, to be honest.
was you going to thank all your friends for the birthday wishes? Because
yes, thank you. I would genuinely like to say thank you for all the touching messages.
Both of them.
All the people who sent messages. Let me finish, please.
All right.
All the people who sent me messages, I'd like to thank both of them. They're well received.
There we go. So I think somebody asked earlier, Craig. I'll come to you, Craig, because somebody asked earlier if we can talk briefly about the women's team as well.
And you've got 60 seconds. You've got 60 seconds.
60 seconds. So very, very, very disappointing results against Charlton. 3 huge mistakes defensively and goalkeeping led to the unfortunate defeat, which I think in realistic terms now, we somebody summed it up beautifully as saying we need snookers in order to get promoted this season. I think it's fair to say that was probably for me a season's decider. We have still got a game in hand against Crystal Palace, but we're reliant on the teams that are above us slipping up, and they look too consistent at the moment. And I think, let's just say, we'll probably look at another season in the Championship. I do think it's harsh, though, on that front, that, whilst we can have 2 teams relegated and 2 teams promoted into the Women's Championship, you can only ever get 1 promoted and 1 relegated in terms of to the Women's Super League. It's ridiculous, really. It's something that needs looking at. These teams do fight so hard, and it's not just us. The other teams in and around us, it's so close. So there's going to be some very disappointed people, but no, I mean, last game of the season, he's at home to Sheffield United. Even if we're not going to be promoted, let's get down there, back the women. I think we'll see a few faces turn around this season during the close season. We'll see some new people coming in as well. But let's just give that support to the ladies for the last game. And Daz Carter's been mentioned a few times, in comments and stuff. He's done loads. We've been so unfortunate in some of the games.
Injuries haven't helped us.
Step forwards. It may well be, as much as we wouldn't want to see him leave, this could also be the last game at St Andrews that we see Daz Carter in charge of the ladies. I hope not. Hope he's given another chance. But let's get down there for the game against Sheffield United, back them to the hilt, see them over the line for the season, and then look forwards again to what's upcoming as we go into next year and whatever league that may be.
There you go. That was 600.
Well done. Okay, Paul.
Right, so been the Tilton Talk show. It's a good night from me, and it's good night from Mark Meredith.
Good night from me, and it's a good night from Claire Giblin.
Good night from me. See you on Saturday, guys. And it's good night from Craig Courtney.
It's a good night from me, and albeit 24 hours late, I'm going to hand over to the birthday boy to say good night.
Who?
Well, that's me then, isn't it?
Yeah.
So thanks everybody for listening. I think we're going to get a point on Saturday. So I know we haven't done predictions, but I'm going to go for a shot point 1-1 on Saturday. I just got to keep faith and keep everything crossed for survival, which I'm sure we'll do.
Let's quickly do our predictions. I think we're going to lose 2-1 at Leicester, I'm sorry to say. Mark Meredith.
2-0 loss.
Craig.
1-1.
Claire.
Hart says 1-1.
Alan.
1-1.
Chris.
2-0. Blues.
What's Blues?
Yeah, come on, go for it.
Back to you, Rob.
Well, have we all said goodnight to each other?
You have. You got one. You got.
Well, you were supposed to do that then.
Yeah, you were supposed to do it.
You went off on a tangent.
God.
Sorry, I was just thinking about
Did
Leicester.
you not come to rehearsals?
Hey?
Did you not come to rehearsals?
Well,
It's a good night for me. It's a good night for Mark Rowe.
It's a good night for me, and it's a good night for Mark in America, but it could be Paul. Actually, I think it's Claire, isn't it?
Right, it's a good night. It's Alan Watton, and then it's Chris Brown ending. So good night.
Good night from Alan. And then it's over to Chris for the final word.
I'm only 72, but it's a good night from me and a good night from the one and only Chris Brown.
Good night, everybody. Thank God for that.
Sponsored by Small Affordable Cars in Tamworth.
Yes. Many thanks to our sponsor.
Hey, Rowe, how many friends and family tickets did you sell?
Still working on it.
Right, because it's your birthday, you got to sing the song, the UB40 song.
Yeah.
I can't sing.
He bought himself tickets so that it looked like he had friends.
How much you had to drink tonight? Mark?
I ain't had that much. I've got some lovely bunion cream, though. The gift pack.
It's affected your internet connection as well.
No.
Get a new bucket for your birthday, Mark.
You won't, you book it?
Yeah, did you get a new bucket? Just empty it.
Yeah. From all the lads in Cell C3B1.
I'm going to say good night from Harley Beans Dogs again. That was funny, wasn't it?
And go and see Ghostbusters.
We're going to try again now. So it's good night from me to Mark Adams. Mark Adams, who's it a good night to?
Alan Watton. Al?
Hello.
Frozen.
You thought I was frozen, didn't you?
Yeah.
Good night, everybody, and a good night from Chris. How many times am I going to do this?
And it's a good night from.
I don't know why we're doing it again.
Yeah, we're off, aren't we?